Hi, welcome to the Madness Collective. I am Crescent. My co-host is Antoine.
Hey,
Hey, what's up? What's up? And our guest co-host is back in the seat.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?
Actually, I meant to ask you, do you care how if we give you a title? You want a title? Like what do you do? The people might want to know.
You can be like that ninja Vez. Um, uh, I'm just a producer. I mean, at the
Oh,
end of the day, I'm a producer of things.
okay, I like that.
Chicago niggas ain't never gonna give you a straight goddamn answer.
Never.
I'm an entrepreneur, nigga. What do you do? That's everybody in Chicago is hustling.
All right, so
I do
here's
a
the
lot
deal.
of things. I'm a
Here's
jack
the
of all
deal.
trades. What do you need today?
I can give you the three most professional things. I'm an independent film producer.
Bet.
Right? I'm an event producer,
Bet.
and then I'm president of a nonprofit.
Thank you.
That's
See,
awesome.
you doing things. Okay. Sorry. If you are
Yeah.
tuning in for the first time, we are the Madness Collective and we have some technical issues on Wednesday, but I can see the chat. I can see the comments. What's up, Tony?
Awesome.
Oh my God. What's up,
Awesome.
Kale? Hey, what's up, eBay? I am very excited. Okay. So, yes, if you are tuning in for the first time, we are the Madness Collective. We recap the hour's headlines because that's kind of how the news cycle goes. So, just and what's funny is as I'm prepping a show, right? Like I usually get the show flow out the night before, but by the time we're about to go on, it's like 5 more stories. So sorry if we don't cover something that came out this afternoon. Okay. We just can only do what we can do. Working on it. So tonight, policing black hair in Texas. Wendy Williams is not doing well. Are you caught up with the TikTok series, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Fascinating. Speaking of relationships, Porsha and Simon are donezo. And apparently on Fox News, if you sell sneakers, you can get black votes. Who knew? Okay.
Nice.
Judge to Trump pay up. Russian ops in Congress and the GOP's crooked ass informant got rearrested because, of course, he did. And then this year is the 70th anniversary of Brown v. Board of Education. So just provide some information about that. All that and more on this Friday night episode of the Madness Collective. I need to turn on my air because it is hot.
It did. The temperature went up 20 degrees today. It was like 78. We ain't had a 78-degree day, and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I thought the car was lying when it said 78.
I thought the same thing.
Right. I'm so excited.
But I was feeling it though. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I was feeling it like, wait a minute, the car is lying. But I'm feeling 78. Almost like, hey, I'm gonna give you this one right here. Check this out. So I had took some of my sweatshirts to the cleaners like a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then I get my sweatshirts and some of my shirts back, and I'm like, yo, this cleaners done shrunk some of my stuff. Like they done shrunk all of my sweatshirts and my shirts, right?
Okay.
I go to the doctor, right? Doctor like, yo, this is the heaviest you've ever been.
Oh yeah. Deluding yourself, lying on yourself.
Right. You mad at the cleaners. Meanwhile, Doc is like, how your winter go?
Right.
Start walking more.
He said they shrunk everything.
Bro,
all the clothes.
Listen, I'm telling you, I was like, man, they need shrunk all my sweatshirts, all my shirts. I'm pissed.
That is some black shit right there. Let me blame
really is.
Everybody. So we call ourselves the Madness Collective because when we first started, there'd be like 1 or 2 crazy stories in a week. Every day, something's nuts. But every now and then, there is a story that for me stands out above the rest of the crazy. So that's what I'm starting out with. Let's see. I'm gonna just go ahead and drop this banner. So there was a man who bought an illegal and deadly pet. That man got bit by that pet. That man is now dead. So in Colorado, Christopher Ward, 34, he owned 2 reptiles, Gila monsters. He became ill after he got bit by one of them. He immediately started showing symptoms. He vomited several times before he passed out, and then his breathing stopped. So his girlfriend called, 911. He was taken to a local hospital. He was put on life support. He was later declared brain dead. They also took 26 spiders of different species from his home as well. So Gila monsters are the largest lizards in the United States, and they can measure up to 22 inches long. The venom from a Gila monster is as toxic as that of a Western diamondback rattlesnake. That just sounds bad. So, okay, sure. Also, apparently, there's no anti-venom for Gila monster bites. And it's funny because this in the article it says that the bites are painful, but they rarely cause death. But then, next kind of paragraph, it says the bite of a Gila monster is very strong, and a lizard may not loosen its grip for several seconds. It may even chew so that the venom goes deeper into the wound. Okay, well, you own this animal that you shouldn't have had, and now you're not here anymore. So,
what I want to know is the venom as toxic as the venom spewed by the former president known as number 45? I mean, is it that level of toxicity, or is it a little bit below that? I'm just trying. It's
not. He didn't. He had a reaction to it because a Gila monster doesn't normally kill you from a bite.
Thank you. So I was confused about that. Okay.
He has some sort of reaction to it because some people, a lot of animals and spiders, if you get bit by them, it'll be really painful, but you'll survive. But if it's the equivalent of a bee sting. A normal person gets stung by a bee, you're just uncomfortable. But if you're allergic, you can die. Your throat will close up. So he has some sort of allergy to some allergic reaction to it. But I'm curious, just for my own personal gratification, what was the ethnicity of this young man?
Well, I don't recall seeing any pictures. We all want to guess.
I don't want to speculate. If you don't know, you don't know. I mean, we don't know, I guess.
His name is Christopher Ward out of Colorado. So, militia, if y'all want to get the digging to potentially come up on a, I don't know, profile.
I'm going to say like 99.99%. Yeah, he's probably not one of us, more than likely.
But to be fair, it was a nigga in New York that had a tiger in his apartment.
Hey, Mike Tyson had tigers though. See, Mike Tyson had tigers, so I can. That's with the black tigers is with us. Mike Tyson had tigers, you know.
Yeah.
Daily Radar is showing me a picture of a white man with a baseball cap on. So
no way.
No
way.
No.
You have got to be lying to me right now.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh God. Shabazz, to your question about the venom that is spewed from that orange man who was formerly president, I think his is worse. I think it is. I actually think it's far more deadly.
Well, yeah, his is deadly, so it is worse.
It's
not even speculation.
It works slowly though. That's the thing. So
Gotcha.
Oh, Jesus.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Actually, this was like, because this was an update on the story. So hopefully you guys are familiar with the young man and his family who were fighting back against a dress code in the school district that they recently had moved to. So the updated information is that a Texas judge ruled that the state's Crown Act does not make it unlawful for the dress code for the school dress code to limit a student's hair length. That's really wordy. Basically, the judge was like, the school's right. You got to change your hair. You can't come to school. Yeah.
The judge is right. So let me tell y'all something.
I remember we talked about this before. So I will read the Crown Act. So the U.S. Supreme Court recently... No. Oh, God. Where'd it go? Okay. Antoine, you were about to say something because I'm looking for my notes.
So here's what I don't like. I don't like it when people play the race card when race has nothing to do with it. This school has a rule about hair length. It is not specific to ethnicity, race, height, nothing. And I went to a private school, and the reason that they didn't want people standing out was so that everybody could focus on their studies. If one nigga had pro wings and another one had Jordans, that becomes an issue. You making fun of him. We wore penny loafers. We wore shirts. We wore slacks. We wore a tie. Everybody had the same thing. That is not, they're not doing that to be an asshole. They do that for a reason. And with a family, I saw him saying, one thing, they had a quote from the young man. I mean, I can't believe I can't go to my junior year because of my hair. No, you can't participate because you won't cut your hair and follow the fucking rules. That's what the problem is. If it was anything else, wait a minute. Crown Act, if they told you couldn't wear dreadlocks, that would be one thing. If they told you couldn't wear braids, that would apply to the Crown Act. Length, to me, no. I don't believe, because let me give you an example. If your school has a uniform and they say no jewelry, everybody has to wear black slacks. You show up with a wooden necklace with an ankh on it and they say, son, you can't wear that. You start talking about how it's connected to your ancestry. That's his excuse for the hair. And I don't believe them. I think that's an excuse. He just don't want to follow the rules, and he want to be cute and wear his hair the way he wants to. Sometimes you just got to follow the rules. If you don't like that rule, go to another school. I don't think they're justified here.
So
Antoine, did you go to Brother Rice? Where did you go?
No, I went to St. Salomeo, which changed to St. Mark the Evangelist. It was off 119th in Indiana for grammar school. I didn't go to the high school I was supposed to go to, what I wanted to go to was Mendel, which changed to St. Martin de Porres when it went co-ed.
Yeah.
These
are schools. Very Chicago heavy conversation, but go ahead, Chavez, because I disagree with Antoine, but go ahead, Chavez.
Oh, no, go ahead. Oh, okay.
So my notes are a little bit all over the place. So the Texas Crown Act, which went into effect last fall, prohibits discrimination based on hairstyles that are commonly associated with a particular race or culture. And the dress code to which Antoine is referring for the district is, it allows students to wear locks hairstyles, but places a limit on the length of the male student's hair. It states boys' hair will not extend below the eyebrows, below the earlobes, or below the top of a t-shirt collar. And the rest of it says if once like let down, right? Because his is kind of corn rolled up. So it's actually not hanging down, but if it was to be unbraided, undone, it would be hanging down. So the reason why, and broadly speaking, I hear you on these are the rules of this district. You don't like it, get out of here. But because this is Texas and because of the era that we're in, I do feel like he is being targeted. And they're like, we're going to teach a little nigga a lesson. And so, and in part because also the superintendent's comments, right? He said, the U.S. Supreme Court recently ruled that affirmative action is a violation of the 14th Amendment, and we believe the same reasoning will eventually be applied to the Crown Act. Why are you even bringing that into it? And then he said previously, he told CNN, hair length of male students is only constitutionally protected for Native American students. Sir, your perspective on this is you're bringing race into it. So
right, he definitely that part. I'm separating it from that. I'm just going by the rule that the child violated. That's all I'm going by. I'm not going by how people reacted to it, because that rule was a part of the school that I went to, and my school was 99% black. We couldn't wear our hair anywhere that we wanted to. White kids at that school can't wear their hair long. And I guess for me, where the problem comes is you can always say that you're wearing something because it connects with your culture or your ancestors when it comes to black people. So do we get to do whatever we want wherever we go? Because again, I'm making the same argument. When he shows up with kente cloth, pants on, and they say you got to wear black pants, he's going to say, well, this connects me to my ancestors. That means you could do whatever you want. And that is what I find problematic. I feel like if it wasn't his hair, it would be something else. And their explanation to me, this, I can't believe, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just cut your fucking hair.
But he has said it is attributed to his ancestors, to his whatever.
I don't agree with that. I believe that's what you say when you want to get what you want.
How do you get decided that's what it is? And also, his hair has never hung down. Like it's actually been up above his eyebrows, above his neck, above wherever the fuck it needs to be. And Tony also, I agree. Tony's like, this is a public school. If this were a private school, okay, y'all, it's a private school. You got to fuck with private school.
Here's what I'll say.
This is a public school.
Here's what I'll say. People have been allowed to get away with what they want to get away with for generations.
Which people, Chavez? Which people?
The what are melanated challenged people.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm gonna always say, I get the rules. I really do get the rules. But man, they've been breaking these rules for so long, yo. And like right now, we got a situation where somebody's running for president. And as we said last time, if his name was Jorge, Jaquan, if he was of any other race, there's no way this man would even be. He wouldn't have been able to make it the first time as president. But because of the privilege, so I get it. But I'm in the middle because I'm a firm believer in, like, what the rules are, and these are the rules, and if you don't like that, then go somewhere else. But then on the flip side, I kind of want to just turn the table over too.
Because my thing is, I agree with you everywhere else, but at school, I believe that when a school sets a rule like this, it is to force the kids to focus on their studies. And when he walks around with his hair looking completely different from everybody else, and I'm sorry, with school, sometimes you have to assimilate, and that has nothing to do with race, in my opinion. He's going to stand out compared to all the other kids because he claims he's connecting with his ancestors. We all can use that excuse if we decide that we want to wear our hair the way we want to wear if there's a rule against a certain hair length.
A lot of people do have their hair locked. There is an additional, I know it's a lot more popular now as a hairstyle, but there was a junction where really people who had their hair locked was because of a religious component or like a cultural component or whatever. So I'm not going to pass judgment on him on whether that's accurate or not. If that's what he's saying it is, so be it. But the other thing too is his hair is also not, just to keep it 100, it's not like all over the place, sticking up all over his head. It's actually a very neat hairstyle. So that's where my issue is. I'm like, it's not fine. His black skin is distracting. Like, he gonna stand out if he want to cool for
I don't agree with that. It's other black kids there that are following the rule. I ain't gonna say it has nothing to do with his skin. He stands out. And if the rule, and the thing is too, if I'm trying to understand, did he show up one day with his hair down his back? Like, if it was some sort of cultural distinction, I would think that your parents would say, hey, he's on a journey, a hair journey that's involved with his faith, and we understand that it could conflict with the rules. Why don't we have a discussion? You just show up with a hairstyle that goes completely against the rules that were set out. I don't know if that happened, but yeah, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with it, particularly because I participated in something like this. So yeah, I don't think that's it'd be different if he couldn't wear an afro or if he couldn't wear locks. But yeah, hair length, I don't think that's specific to black people.
I mean, I've never seen pictures of it down. I've only seen it like up in a style. So and also again, given where they are and given this climate, I think they're fucking with him because he's a black boy, but they are using a rule that is they're narrowly defining it. And they're just like, no. And the last amount of comments on it from the superintendent was, everybody does need to conform to what we want you to look like. And I'm just like, and when that's coming from a white man in the South, I can't. Like,
I understand how these things that people are saying in the media about it. But from my perspective, having gone to a school that had the same rules, I understand why those rules are in place. You're not supposed to, in certain schools, depending on what they're trying to when you have these rules in place, you have fewer issues as far as conflicts between kids because one isn't walking around with an advantage over the other one. I find value in that. And I feel like they full of shit. He just want to wear a cute hairstyle. That's just me. If he
I don't know what that advantage is. I don't know what the advantage he's getting over somebody with that hairstyle. What's the advantage?
I already stated it, Crescent. You stand out. If everybody has to wear their hair a certain length and you walking around looking like a hippie and a Rastafarian, you stand out. You look different. And what I'm saying is that if you're a Rastafarian, that's connected to your belief system. That is very specific. You just saying I'm connected to the ancestors. We can say that about anything. We can say that about our shoes. We can say that about jewelry. We can say that about our hair. We could literally say, we could say that about anything. A head covering. We could say that about anything. I feel like it's an excuse and they grasping at straws. Just cut your hair.
No, I will say this though, we would leave the school district if we financially could, because I'm not trying to argue with these white people on a regular basis.
I get it.
And his whole year has been fucked up.
It is bad. If it's racially motivated, it's wrong, but I don't know that that's the case. It seems like people are interpreting it that way.
I know that's
the case. It seems like people are interpreting it that way.
I know that's the case.
But just because I know I went to a black school that had the same rule, that's why my perspective is different on it.
Yeah,
I agree. Danielle, I agree with you on that. I think at a school, perhaps it's a silly rule. I think when I was in school, it probably was a good rule, but I don't know. But I don't think it's intrusive. I don't think it's intrusive.
With the rule. And also, racist white people get on my nerves. I'm not giving them an inch. I'm tired. This shit been going on way too motherfucking long. We helped build this country, and y'all just still out here fucking with us and about to let this Nazi back in the White House. I'm tired.
So, well, hey, Crescent, stop beating around the bush and tell us how you really feel. Because that last 7 seconds, I don't really know how you feel. You know?
I'm tired. I'm tired. Okay, tired. All right, moving on. Wendy Williams. And we did talk about the documentary that's going to come out this weekend. In fact, back before when we could actually like have graphics and stuff, then we show the trailer because that's what we got dinged for, right?
Oh yeah, we got copyright. We got a copyright infraction for that. Yeah.
So they decided to go ahead and release a statement to correct inaccurate and hurtful rumors about her health. So she has the same diagnosis as Bruce Willis. She has aphasia, and dementia. And the condition impacts communication, personality, and the ability to understand language. She is currently under a court-ordered guardianship, and she has been living in the facility since April of 2023. The documentary that will come out this weekend was produced by her and with the participation of her family. I did find it interesting that her sister, niece, and brother claim that they actually don't know what facility she's staying at and that they can't reach out to her, but she can reach out to them. They did say she is in a healing place emotionally. She's not the person you see in the film. They said Wendy's still able to do things for herself. And, she doesn't, keep her sense of humor. So she sounds like she's protected in a safe place, but it's crazy that her family doesn't know exactly where she is.
That I think we're not being told something.
And I find it odd.
Out of respect for other family members, I think they're not mentioning that in the documentary. That makes no sense. That my dad had aphasia when he had a stroke when he was 40. It's very they get words mixed up. You're trying to communicate to them. You're like, do you want to go eat? Do you want to go out for lunch tomorrow? And they literally don't understand what you're saying. And they'll say something to you that doesn't make any sense, and they get frustrated. It creates a lot of, it's such a difficult situation to be in. So what is helpful when a person is in a situation like that is to have family around. Familiarity is the best, remedy for that, because I'll give you an example. When my dad had his stroke, after my dad had his stroke, he had a stroke at about 40. He died somewhere around 60. In those 20 years, my father called me by my name probably 4 times. He called me by for some reason in his mind, he would refer to me and my brother by his brother's names and by 2 of his brother's names. And what happened over time is we just knew who he was referring to when he said the wrong name. Now, if you're not a family member, you know what I'm saying? That the compassion and the empathy that you have for that person in those frustrating moments, that's why it's good to have a person that's familiar and who can communicate with a person using more than words. You can tell what their mood is, when to try them and when not to try them. So if they are not letting her family see her, I believe it's for a reason, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know. That just, it sounds like you said, we don't have all the information. And Callum. Hey, what's up? Thanks for watching. Yeah, Bruce Willis has the same condition. Yep. Shabazz.
It just kind of reminds me of, a combination of Navalny and Jamie Foxx. Like you said, there's probably something else going on that's not wanting to be shared with the public, more than likely. Because I'm telling you, I'm still like with Jamie. I mean, I'm like, what really happened, brother? I mean, I've never heard of a medical condition be so secretive and cause so much, suffering, like just to call it a medical condition. But I get it. People want to keep things personal. Not all of us want to share our stuff. So,
I mean, look, ain't nobody seen Kate Middleton since December? So I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. So we're not being told.
Maybe tied up in a closet somewhere. Who knows?
Oh God, no. There is speculation though that she might be in a coma. Like there's been no pictures. It's been just crickets. They're like, just there's an illness. Like, okay.
Well, I mean, the thing is, she does have, her thyroid condition, and then she has the one, I forget what it's called. It's the one that causes her legs to swell. But aphasia and dementia doesn't necessarily lend itself to her being in a coma. If she's in a coma,
I meant Kate Middleton. I'm not.
Okay,
no,
yeah,
no.
okay,
I'm sorry. I'm talking about Kate Middleton. No, that's who I said might be in a coma.
I'm like, yeah, I don't think Wendy in a coma.
No. Yeah, no. I'm just saying when Chavez was talking about what happened with Jamie and us not knowing everything. I was like, yeah, like right now, Kate Middleton, nobody knows what's happening.
And that Jamie thing was weird as fuck.
I mean, super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
What it is.
So I don't really, this was all over the place, the story. So I was trying to get my notes together, but hopefully most of y'all are familiar with Who the Fuck Did I Marry? It's, is it Risa Tisa? Is that how we're supposed to say her name? Anyway, young lady posted a video on the first video was posted on February 13th. And it was in response to a TikTok trend that said, what's the most fucked up thing that your ex did to you? So she was like, oh, I got a story for y'all motherfuckers. So she ended up being, I think it's a total of 50 or 52 parts altogether, right? I think it's like 10 minutes each. Antoine, did you start it at all?
I got to the second episode and I did not have time for this. Why the fuck is it 50 episodes is what it should be called. Then I read the summary. I'm like, this could have been told in an hour. I can't. And I guess for me too, it's I
want to give more information.
It's the form. Yeah, you can get more information. It's the format of it. It's just for me, and this isn't to take anything away from her. I guess for me, I need more. I need more to hold my attention for 50 episodes. I just you sitting in your car, I'll just read the summary. I'll read the summary. I read the summary. But go ahead.
Beth, I deliberately didn't ask if you started watching because I'm assuming you didn't, but did you watch any of it?
No, I didn't, but I'm getting the feeling that it's kind of like In the Closet by the artist formerly known as Robert.
Oh, Jesus. Kinda. So okay, flesh it out. Yeah, but yes, that is a good analogy. So she did put the videos in an auto playing playlist so that people can more easily listen to the whole story, right? So making it easy for them to watch it as if like a reality TV show. So
500 minutes.
What?
500 minutes.
Because they're about 10 minutes each and it's 50 of them. So
let me tell you something. If my brother put this out, I wouldn't watch the whole goddamn thing. I don't know this lady. I'm not giving you 500 minutes of my time because everybody else ain't got shit to do and watch your story, your long ass drawn out story that could have been summarized in about an hour. So I'm happy. I'm always happy when a Negro finds success. Because it's lit as fuck over there. I was in the comments, everybody like, who else just started it today? I'm like, I started it and finished it today, nigga, because I'm stopping on episode 2 and I'm gonna read this article and find out what the fuck happened.
Antoine, but kudos to her. CJ said she ain't got the patience either. And I mean, real talk. I mean, honestly, I don't either. When somebody finally posted, at least initially, like some cliff notes, I was like, thank you, because I'm not. I'm just not. So just to tell y'all, if you are not familiar for whatever reason, this is what happened. So she met, dated, and married and divorced a real pathological liar. She also called him a narcissist. And she also said he was the United Nations of red flags. Girl, that part. So, and she said she was going to be truthful and honest, even if it made her look bad. Each video has amassed about millions of views. She later did a 2-hour TikTok live stream talking about the story. So she called him Legion. Oh, and I've meant to add why. Like that's the name of like a demon in the Bible or something.
From the Bible, I am Legion. Yeah. In fact, Professor, there was a TV show, a Marvel TV show called Legion. It's a mutant. He's Professor X's son, and his mutant ability is that he has multiple personality disorder, and he has thousands of different personalities. And here's the kicker. Each one of his thousands of multiple personalities manifests different mutant powers. So he's one of the most powerful mutants in the universe.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. But yeah, Legion, I am Legion. That is directly from the Bible. It is a demon.
So, okay, right. Okay, so to that point. So just to give you sort of as much of a synopsis as I can provide, and because I did not watch all of them, and people who did watch all of them said like she's given like certain details in it that kind of explains how everything rolled out. That's cool. So they met in March 2020. They went on the very first date. Her tire blew out, and he swooped in and was just like, "I got you, pay for everything, took care of it." The shit we like men to do. Okay, like he just took care of it. You're like, "Oh, okay, hey, what's up?" Right. And so then they said they were
She
both
had an orgasm on the spot when this nigga paid. He paid for it. And she didn't expect that. Yeah.
Okay. It's real talk though, Antoine. The bar is in hell. Okay. So you know what I mean?
No,
so like
that was look, I understand. I told that part when somebody goes out of, not only did he swoop in, he showed up, he fixed the tire, he told her this only go work temporarily, took her to go get it replaced. And next thing you know, they booed up.
So this is right before the pandemic. And so they said they were both looking for something serious. So that then he told her he was well off financially, having played arena football at one point before moving from California to Atlanta. And he's now the VP of a well-known condiment company. Okay. So COVID hits and they're like, oh, you know what? Let's just quarantine together, right? Because from what he has said and thus far shown, seems legit. So he was covering all the household bills. Then they started looking to buy a home together. That's when shit started to fall apart. Okay?
Wait, please be clear. They started looking for a home together 2 fucking months later. That is a detail that should not be left out. This lady is crazy. She just as crazy as this nigga is. Living with a nigga that you just met and looking to go buy a house 2 months later. Now, to be fair, she admitted that she was stigmatized. She admits to her shortcomings, but
she got pregnant, and then she miscarried. So again, look, we do dumb shit, okay? Like ain't no she
did a lot of dumb shit here. She did a lot of dumb shit.
She absolutely did. So yes, Antoine's right. The whole house looking thing happened very quickly, but that fell apart because he's a fraud. But she didn't fully know that. She didn't know that at the time. Saying they were trying to buy a car, didn't come together either. Fraud. So she got married. So got pregnant, miscarried. They still decided to get married in January of 2022. Right. So then, it's been like what, a year, 2 years, like a year and a half approximately. So whatever. After marrying him, through some digging, she realized he was not the VP of a condiment company, nor was he a former arena football player. He had falsified legal documents, lied about his social security number, created fake bank statements, and had been having one-sided conversations on the phone with people who were not there. So she was like, he would talk to his family almost every day and be like, "Hey, my brother said, what's up?" Ain't nobody on the phone.
Would you marry somebody without meeting a single fucking person?
Absolutely
from
not.
Their family?
Absolutely
and
not.
Particularly considering he's having conversations with you, telling you they said hello. Were these niggas at the wedding? No. Like, this is we got to be better because, luckily she wasn't physically harmed because this could have been a psychopath. This story could have ended very differently, but we got to teach our girls better because this was hokey doke. From the only thing I'll give her is I understand why you felt wet down there when the nigga paid for the tire. That was a perfect storm. But everything that followed that, we got to do better. And don't marry nobody without meeting their parents.
He also had a criminal record, surprise, and had lied about his past marriages, surprise. Additionally, it was revealed that he has a twin, and that's whose life he was actually saying. Like that twin, I think, did play football. That twin is his brother is the VP at a condiment company.
Wait a minute. So the brother was everything that the guy was saying he was.
Correct.
Yes.
And brother they do not speak. Everybody in his family basically stopped speaking to him years ago because he's a liar.
Yeah.
So Tony said, "Ain't no such thing as a well-off arena football player." Figment of an imagination. Oh God. CJ said quarantine together was her first mistake. So a couple reactions from people, just it was more so with regard to like how she did it. Somebody said, I just canceled my Hulu subscription. Somebody else said, I just canceled my Netflix subscription and handed my kids a box of Fruit Loops. They're fine till Tuesday or so. Let's go. So people have really been eating it up. She now has 2.3 million followers. Sarah said, though, somebody is actually already telling the story on YouTube and is actually getting better monetizing because of the algorithms of how YouTube works versus TikTok.
They probably they probably said, hey, come on over to YouTube. I'm going to tell this 50-part fucking story in 3 parts. And that would get you a lot of views just so you could, converse with people at cocktail parties and act like you actually watched all 50 parts. But what he did to her was very Cat Williams. It's giving a Cat Williams tea. Let me tell you why. I'm going to pull it together.
Okay, all right.
Cat titillated everybody by telling these fucking stories that were mostly untrue, but he mixed them in with shit that was true. And what I mean by that was this guy did the same thing. He did these little things that made it seem like he was on the up and up. He fixed the tire. That's fantastic, but that ain't it. Most niggas I know could pay for a tire for somebody. Also, you quarantined with her and you paid the bills. You paid the same bills you were going to pay if you were living by yourself. So these things appeared as if he was going above and beyond to take care of her, but he was doing the bare minimum, making her think he was capable of doing a lot more. That's why I'm equating it to Cat Williams. You throw a little bit of truth in there, and people they'll believe all the lies you tell because you've being misled and struggled
That's a good
along.
scammer. Scammers know what they're doing. They know how to scam. Yeah. Chavez.
Well, I mean, here's what I say. I mean, I have lied before. You know what I'm saying? But never about the things that I could do or did. Yeah, that's just his whole entire brother's life he took on as his own.
Yeah,
that's deep. And but then on the flip side, for her to not have met any family members or not to talk to any of his friends, like.
Well, and here's the thing. I will say this much. This is one of those things where I do feel, I believe COVID contributed to some of this isolation, some of it, not all of it, some of it, right? Because if everybody was moving around freely, then it would have seemed more strange to have not met family members by a certain point. Right. But still, by the time we about to get married, Zoom, nigga, like something, you know what I mean? Like something.
But to
like,
not have spoken to not to spoken with someone though. I mean,
right.
Hey,
right.
I'm not saying it's,
I'm
just, there's an element of it where I'm like, okay, I kind of see. But she said, I'm going to be honest, this story does not make me look good all the time.
It does not.
And she's clear about that.
So here's what I'm going to say to help. If you take it from 500 minutes and you just say like 8 hours, you might be able to watch it. See, that 500 is what throws you off. You know what I'm saying? What you got to do is you got to switch it from 500 minutes to 8 hours. If you go from 500 minutes to 8 hours, it's possible that you can watch it.
I just feel like
you can watch it.
I feel like this could have been an episode of Snapped. Like, we could have gotten this. Somebody, look, just some, like, even take somebody, what would be hilarious? I hope somebody, look, I'm going to get this to you for free. It is for any courtroom artists that are out there, just take all the major events that she talked about, the tire, the purchase, the first meeting, the quarantine, I had it, but now I don't. I can't pay for the car. The wedding, the one-sided phone conversations. Make about 25 drawings like they do in the courtroom, and just take audio clips from her TikToks and just place it. You'll get 1 million views immediately.
I'm gonna say
You'll
this,
get a million views.
Like Zola, right? Our very first Twitter story, right? That went viral, and they didn't do a movie about it. Wasn't Coleman Domingo on that? I feel like that was the first thing I knew about him being in. But anyway, sorry, sidebar. So because it sounds like it's legitimate 8 episode series on fucking Netflix. Like it definitely sounds like there's more than enough content there for that if we're doing it from actually start to finish. So so she did one interview, I think, with NBC. And so she said she made the series because she hopes it will help other people who have gone through or are going through similar experiences. Whether you agree with me and my decisions or not, I wanted to create a conversation about the things that we ignore because we want what we want when we want it and we're in a hurry. She said, if you do decide to start this series, I just ask that you finish it because a lot of questions won't be answered.
You asking a lot of somebody that don't fucking know you. I told you, my brother, I'd be like, no. I'd be like, nigga, I will watch 3. I will watch 3.
Antoine, you gotta listen. She asked that if you start. See, I haven't started, so
you don't need to.
So you gotta respect her wishes, man. You gotta finish it now, man.
No, we do 3 episodes a week. I ain't got 500 minutes to give to nobody that I don't know. I'm glad I know again. I like to be prepared for cocktail party situations, even though I barely leave the house anymore because of this goddamn show. But in the, when I'm lucky enough to be able to congregate with people and run my goddamn mouth, I got the basics. I know how to participate in the conversation about this. I saved myself 500 minutes.
So I saw this as we were about to go live. She just in the article, she said it got out of control and people are trying to identify him. Well, he has since identified himself because people did. TikTok was like, fuck that, we're gonna find this man. So I think his real name is Jerome J.C. McCoy. Well, that's a name. That's a name. We don't know if that's the real name or not, but that's a name. And
maybe his name is Simon Guabadia. Maybe that's his name.
Right. So he said, we went to marriage counseling. It didn't work and we broke up. But all my message is to her is, please stop lying to these people and tell them the real reason why I left you. You cheated. I caught you in the house with Bradley. We
don't know that that's not true.
Who's Bradley?
We don't know.
I want to know who Bradley is now.
You know what? Look. Now, if him and Bradley put together a series of maximum 10 parts, I'll watch that shit.
You know what?
I'll watch that shit. 10 parts, you and Bradley? Yes. I will give y'all 50 minutes to clarify because her story, to a certain extent, and I hate to put it this way, for a lot of us, it's like the unbelievable part of her story is that somebody is that fucking gullible. That's what, because some women said they couldn't watch it because of that. They were like, the things we do when we're desperate for love, and they were like, that's why I can't watch it because this is the extreme version of that, you know?
It is, and that's why I sadly believe every single utterance out of her mouth.
You know what? If it take all that, I'll just watch porn and play with myself. I ain't finna have nobody take me on a ride like this one. This is just like, I'd rather be alone than be exposing myself to this level of gullibility. Like, you'll fall for anything if you did all this shit that this did.
So Chavez's face is funny because sometimes it reacts to certain things and other times it doesn't react when I think it should. When you said, I'm gonna just watch porn and play with myself, Chavez's face did not
move. Bradley got more of a reaction out of me. Like, I'm like, who is this Bradley guy? Like,
I want to know who Bradley is now.
Wait, so she responded and she said, do not interact with him. He is not well. She said the engagement can turn antagonizing. And she said, and then also the woman that was the first wife or another wife jumped in the mix and said, this motherfucker literally tried to ruin my life. Okay. So somebody else is corroborating.
I mean, what did she do? I mean, maybe she tried to ruin his life. Maybe, I don't know that lady.
No.
You know who we need to talk to?
Bradley.
You know who? No, wait. Bradley. I would love to talk to Bradley and know who the fuck he is, but I want to talk to the twin brother, especially if they're identical twins.
Yeah.
That's who we need to talk to is the twin brother.
So finishing up, the other ex-wife said, I too fell for this trap over 10 years ago. Yes, he was charming and I was broken mentally. understand self-love was not here at all for me to love myself, to understand that this is not love. So this Jerome McCoy motherfucker is just out here a menace. So ladies, please.
All right, she said he was tall and good looking. He'll be plugged up in a minute. He'll be hugged up with somebody else. He probably got another one with him right now.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. But
He's
yes,
probably with Bradley right now.
You know,
I mean,
what?
Look, Dwayne Martin just got engaged. I mean, come on, like. I mean, I don't know that man. It's just I heard a lot. I don't know. Maybe he's a good guy. I just been hearing things
where if Oprah, I would like to have Oprah have everybody on. Like Wendy can't. Wendy's out the game. But somebody with some like kind of foundation to just go, okay, so this Bradley character, like talk to the
more like a Dr. Phil situation.
It's already a circus, so I need somebody who's not circus-like to be a part of it. Go ahead, Antoine.
Hey, speaking of, I was telling Danielle and Chris,
comments is out of control. But go ahead. Sorry.
Speaking of Oprah, how would it be if Oprah and Tyler Perry created a TV show for Monique's son Shalon, where he was the star of the show, and the show is about him and his relationship with his mother, who's a celebrity, and their relationship is strained. And D.L. Hughley stars as his father / mentor. Look, how fucking gangster would that be? Because she been running her mouth for 15 years about these niggas. And I mean, look.
This is about the kids of comedy?
We just need to start doing our pitch meetings. That's all. We got this and a bunch of other ideas. How about that?
Yeah, because I mean, it's getting to a point where I mean, that'd be an ultimate payback right there. I would watch 500 minutes of that fucking show. That's a show I would watch. So
Jason said, did that nigga flatten the tire in the first place? Things that make you go, Yeah. So I'm trying. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot. I don't know why. Sarah, another secret ingredient to a con is that you can only con someone that is hoping for more than they deserve or earn. Yes, thank you, Tony. Coleman was in that, the Zola movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so instead of single white female, man was working with the double mint black licorice twin. I cannot. Yeah, like people said they just cling to it. Like one of the videos I saw, a woman she watched it, she had it on the big screen and she moved it to her iPad and she moved it to another part as she was moving around the house doing stuff.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
Yeah. Danielle said, spoken like a true narcissist with regard to what his responses were.
Yeah, they good at they good at finding a good target. You know, it's women who are in abusive relationships deal with the same thing. So I get it to a certain extent.
And Danielle said, she's like, I ignored a lot of red flags because I was ready to start a family. So I ain't gonna judge too harshly. Girl, that part.
Yeah.
You find yourself in situations, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So sorry for you, Danielle. Oh my God.
Sarah says she about to dress up and head to Beverly Hills or Malibu and start flattening some tires on some luxury vehicle. I cannot. But speaking of marriages, as Antoine mentioned, Porsha and Simon are now divorcing after 15 months of marriage. They dated for a few months before that, or I don't remember. The timeline is all over the fucking place with this person. But they got married in, I think, November 2022. There's been some headlines circulating with him and some bank and credit card fraud and some identity.
Oh, wait. Let be very specific. So he came here.
Go ahead.
And he came here and he was on some sort of visa or whatever.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Wait, Antoine. Porsha was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Simon is a man she met on the show who was at the time married to somebody else. Because not everybody follows. Because somebody else was like, "Who are these people?" So okay, sorry.
He was married to another cast member. She was a friend of the show. She wasn't just some random, and she also was on the show. She was introduced as Porsha's friend. So let's be very clear. Porsha married her friend's husband. That's what happened. So the first time he came here. He had a sham marriage to try and get citizenship, And the government found out it was a sham. And so they basically said, no, this is some bullshit. We figured out you only doing this to get citizenship. So in the midst of that, he allegedly left. So he comes back. He comes back and then he commits bank and credit card fraud. So at that point, the government is like, yeah, we're about to get your ass up out of here. We just working on the paperwork. While the government was working on the paperwork, this nigga got a new identity and got a visa based on the new identity. And then he got to stay here because it was a different person that had not committed these crimes.
I'm glad you went down the rabbit hole because I could not.
Yeah. So he's been here so long, you know, and then he married Porsha and he's like, hey,
but he married the other one first. He was married to Phelan. What was
Fallon.
Her name?
Yeah.
Fallon.
Yeah, Fallon. Yeah. So
when he was married to Fallon, was he the other person or was he the person he became?
No, he's the person he became. So basically at this point, he's like, it should be easy for me to become a naturalized citizen. I came here. I was here for a long time. I got married. I got divorced and I got remarried. And basically, when he applied for a naturalized citizenship, they put two and two together and they were like, yeah, you trying to get naturalized citizenship based on a fucking fake identity that you created after we tried to kick your black ass out the last time. The answer is no. And that's when Porsha filed for divorce. And look, I don't know what it is. These reality shows, I'm gonna tell you, I took the ancestry test. Out of everything I could be, I'm more Nigerian than anything else. These reality shows are fucking up Nigerian reputations. You got Wendy on Real Housewives of Potomac. You got Nneka on Real Housewives of Potomac. They can't get along, and Wendy is just turning into an asshole. Then you got Simon.
Turning into.
No, Wendy had a season where I really liked her. She was my favorite housewife on that show.
Sorry to this lady from Jump, but keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, there's already, Nigerian prince credit card scams floating around, and they already had a bad name. Then you got these niggas on reality shows just, marrying, just throwing away the first wife, marrying another one. Fighting each other, like what Nneka said, they should all be getting together listening to Afro beats, but they
true.
They
or
doing everything. Yeah, so stop making us look bad. Get it together. I look, and it's funny because I be seeing it. Me and Simon got the same shaped head. Niggas, stop making us look bad.
So she is coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta after being gone for 2 seasons.
With a strong storyline, nigga. A strong storyline.
And she has signed an overall scripted deal with NBC Universal on scripted project opportunities across the company's broadcast and streaming properties. So, Porsha gonna keep a bag. Porsha ain't playing.
15 months of wedded bliss.
Yeah. So, Sarah said, did he leave the first time though, or was he deported? Because folks said he got deported.
No, the first time, what ended up happening that first time was they believed he had left on his own accord. But when you read the story, it's like, we're not sure he ever left because he popped back up again. And that's when he did the bank and credit card fraud. And again, when they were trying to get him for that shit, he switched identities.
Man, that brother, I'm going to tell you like this. That brother's standing on business. You know what I'm saying? He's standing on business.
So Sarah said, are they even legally married when he did it under a fake name?
I don't believe they are legally married. I don't believe they are.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think Porsha...
Sarah coming in with the law on us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I honestly believe Porsha found out about all this shit when we did.
Damn.
I believe look, Fallon is somewhere smoking a cigarette, drinking a martini, and like she going, bitch, you got what you got.
That part. But but look, again, Porsha landed on her feet. So she's like, I'm straight. I'm going to keep it pushing. And I'm traveling around the world, got all these fucking photo ops in. Got whatever other work I wanted done. And she's going to keep it pushing. It's crazy.
That storyline is strong. She married an NFL player that everybody thought was a homosexual. It was Then she divorced him while she was on the show. Got that body together. Started dating Africans because everybody on Housewives of Atlanta that had an African.
But Dennis, don't forget about Dennis. I like Dennis, the one she got.
Dennis was the star of that Porsha spinoff series. Dennis
he really was. Dennis. Dennis was a good look.
Yeah, the hot dog king.
Jason said maybe he should run for president. Then he will have immunity.
Bigly.
Tony noted. Tony said, ICE goes through your life like a fine-tooth comb. I have a friend that married a foreign national. That paperwork is deep.
Yeah. But it's the audacity of it. Like, it's given a strong Apollo Night-tea. Like, how the fuck, like, if you go engage in fuckboy activity, maybe don't go on a fucking reality show. I don't understand it.
Word.
Like, you're really, look, it happened to Teresa Giudice. Her husband did the same thing, ended up getting deported to Italy. And I don't understand, what do y'all think? It's just like I don't get it. I don't condone any of this activity, but don't be stupid.
Right, that's the thing, right? If you doing dirt, the fewer people who know, the better. Like, that's just, is that even one of Biggie's crack commandments? I don't know. I mean, it's just, come on now. Like,
not the crack commandment.
I'm scared of Crescent right now. But that quote right there has me scared of Crescent now.
Just saying.
I am terrified of Crescent right now. Just that quote right there. She brought up Biggie's crack commandments. I am nervous.
What is it? Somebody, real niggas move in silence, okay? Are these the rules of the street? Like, come on. I'm just saying. Everybody want to be on camera. No, don't do that.
Bad boys moving in silence. Everything cool to you in the hotel room, looking at big black dicks and wearing white nail polish. Y'all better. That was in the 35 pages that Cassie put out. The accusations. She made him specific. He made her specifically find dudes with big black dicks, and he wanted her to perform orally with her. He liked seeing the contrast between the white nails and the big black dick. It's
Antoine.
This what he wanted to see. That's what he wanted to see.
Interesting. Or if you know that you have a lot of questionable business dealings, you may not want to run for offices where that information could come out and then be,
Yeah. And once you get in office, you commit more crimes. So yeah, hey, just go for it, right? So yeah,
go for the gusto.
Oh wait, I didn't. Where is this one? Where did that go? Oh, here it is. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place. So speaking of relationships, though, the latest in Gilead. So as we know, we talked about this. Alabama says that embryos are children. And just a really, really quick update with this. So, of course, the women and families in Alabama who have embryos in storage, who are about to get embryos transferred into their wombs, everybody's in a panic. So, because at least 3 fertility clinics in the state have subsequently paused services because they don't want to risk any liability. And so some people are like, let me go ahead and get my embryos out of this state so that I can, still figure out how I'm going to plan my family. Oh, that shit got shut down too. So your motherfucking embryos are being held hostage. Thanks, GOP.
Let me ask you a question.
Thank you, Trump, for getting rid of fucking Roe. Thank you. Go ahead.
So I'm a scenario I thought about.
Sure.
So if you had a process done, okay, you have the embryos. They take the embryos, they implant them, the woman has, let's say she has twins, and she's like, oh my God, this is what I dreamed of. We knocked out 2 at once. We shutting it down, getting my tubes tied. We don't want no more kids.
Mm-hmm.
Are they now obligated to pay to keep the rest of the embryos frozen? Because that's a fee. You have to pay a fee for that.
That's what is now in question, because what can happen is you can decide what you want to do with the leftover embryos. You can have them destroyed. You can sell them to people, for people who can't, kind of create their own egg and sperm situation, whatever. So that's the other, another outstanding issue. They had a solution to it. So yes, if you decided, like Candy kept, her and Todd had leftover embryos, which is why they had another child, and they use a surrogate, right? Then they said, they're like, we don't want to leave anybody behind. So
right. But Candy, but Candy Burris, most niggas are not working with finances that Candy Burris is working with. I'm curious what the cost is for keeping embryos frozen. Is it $100 a month? Is it $500 a month? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell you, I know how much it costs to keep eggs frozen, so I'm imagining embryos are either the same cost or maybe a little bit more, because egg and sperm as opposed to just egg. But when I did my procedure, you could pay either for a year, you could pay for 3 years, or you could pay for 5 years, and the 5-year plan was a discount, right? And I think, honestly, I think maybe it was like $1,500 or something. I don't remember exactly, but they're now moving away from that, and currently monthly, I think it's like $125 a month. And then
everybody can't afford that.
Of course not. No, of course not. Yeah. But if you started this process, you are already like, okay, I know this is going to cost. So some people like have a credit card. They're like, everything is going on it for this, or they've set aside money. But that's the other thing too. That's the other thing too about it though, Antoine. This does cost a lot, and you may not have a lot of money to work with, and you really are just like pushing your dollars and stretching yourself already to the limit to make this happen. And so now you're out here fucking with it, like for real. This has already cost a lot of money to even get this process going. And so to even transfer embryos from one state to another, that's going to be a cost.
They're not going to let them transfer them, and I'm going to tell you why. Transferring them is tantamount to sending somebody to another state to be executed. They're going to say, we're keeping them here because once they leave, we don't know what the fuck y'all going to do with them. Y'all might try and go to another state and say, I don't want to keep paying the $125, so destroy the remaining embryos. We already had the kids that we want.
Here's the thing. The issue with them being held in Alabama, you're not letting them get injected into me right now. Right now, everything is just stopped. That's the big issue. It's
this is wild.
This is what I'm saying. This shit is completely out of control. But here's go ahead, Shabazz, because there's another point I want to make about all this craziness.
I mean, and I thought, remember in the 80s and the 90s when we thought we were faced with challenges? And it's like, I mean, the stuff that's going on now in these 2020s, I mean, this is like space age pimping, baby. I mean, this is new age first world. Like, the world is so different right now.
Yep.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is really crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and the Alabama Supreme Court, it was a decision that was 8-1. There was one dissenting vote, but the justice, why am I drawing a blank on the head justice? Oh my God, that's terrible. But he is this group called Seven Mountains. And basically he's like, the God will rain down hellfire on you. Like, this is all religious, all
that white nationalist shit. Yeah, it's
all like
Trump. And Trump is part of the second coming of Christ. He's bringing everybody in. Yeah, imagine God choosing Trump to bring in a new era of Christendom.
Lord, please.
How the fuck that makes sense?
Literally, Lord, please. So I read this. I've just reading a couple different things. A couple people have said this. What's to not stop them from deciding to forcibly implant embryos into women so that they don't go to waste?
Oh.
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale. Here we are. So again, and again, you want to be out in these streets talking about, I don't like Biden. I'm not going to vote. Let alone the motherfuckers who are like, yeah, I'm voting for Trump. Okay. Cause you already lost. But those who are like, what he do for us, whatever. I don't give a fuck, male or female. Something gonna touch you, okay?
It is.
Because this right here, you mess around, let that motherfucker back in office. All bets are off. Literally, all bets are off. Ain't no telling what's coming. Imagine the worst, because that's what's down the pike. They've actually already outlined it.
just think of just, family planning. Contraception is part of family planning. And if people say, oh no, they would never take it that far, they already ended abortion. Now they trying to control your embryos and your eggs. You think it's gonna stop there? Because a lot of these I'm gonna say Christian terrorists, a lot of these Christian extremists.
So terrorist works. I like terrorists.
Yeah, they believe that marriage is for procreation. That's kind of part of. Did anybody watch the TV? I loved Big Love. That was such a good show. But a lot of religions believe that marriage is for procreation and that contraception goes against the word of God. So
wait a minute. If it's in existence, then that means God created it. I mean, like contraception is a creation of man, which is then a creation of God.
Yeah, they're gonna murder you, Chavez. They're gonna find you and murder you.
I'm just saying. I mean,
but no, actually, thank you for mentioning contraception, right? Because again, making it relevant to people who are out here on this nonsense. They're gonna try and outlaw that. That is already being discussed, right? So, and we talked about this, I think Wednesday or Monday. Condoms used to be against the law. So again, some of you motherfuckers out here in these streets, hey, right? And so if you still run around trying to impregnate everybody, okay, so now they really gonna try and round your ass up and figure out how to like keep you locked in. Like, this is not good for anyone except them crazy religious, what we call them, Christian terrorists. This is not good for you, player. So how about you take your ass to the fucking to the booth and handle some business?
And they're gonna implement Killer Mike's. They're gonna implement what Killer Mike wants to do. So it's like that's the double whammy then too, because now they're gonna get a trade. They're gonna get a trade.
It might be communism. You don't even get picked to trade. You're a ballerina. You're a carpenter, and you have no say in it.
Right. Again, this country, as we all know it to be, with its flaws and all, the whole different. It's just
if people, all people have to do is this. At the end of the day, I think probably our best example. There are plenty of examples from Italy to Brazil to Russia, but all people really have to do is just go back and look at what happened with Germany. I mean, if you really just look at what happened with Germany during that time. Yes. It is literally the same playbook. Like it is the same exact playbook. If you want to just familiarize yourself with what happened in Germany, that's it.
So, and there's the thing, Chavez, because other people with some sense and foresight are saying the exact same thing. The really scary part are those who are okay with that, right? Like that's the crew that are like still riding for Trump, and because they're like, no, maybe that's what we need. Right. So again, those of you who consider you're like, I don't like Biden, he's old, or what has he done for us? It's so much bigger than that. Like, it is so much bigger than that. So unless you are down to get rounded up and deported because you look like you might be Muslim, because you look like you might be an immigrant, all right, hell, they might try and legit. He mentioned concentration camps.
Hey, listen,
that has been said.
I gotta admit though, I do be scared when I be looking at Biden, because Biden be out here looking like the undead.
Okay, that's fine.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I get it.
That brother be out here looking like, sometimes I be like,
Yeah,
that's
better.
Cool.
It's still better than the alternative.
It is better than the alternative. And then again, the issue that people have with Biden's age is Kamala. Because if his VP was Gavin, if his VP was another white man, and not Pete, who I love, right? But maybe Pete, I don't know. But because it's a black woman, there is a concern. If he break a hip, fall down, whatever, Kamala, right? So like, if it were somebody else, if it were a white man, there would be less pushback. There would be less.
Nimrata has even alluded to that. She's like, that's her issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, the fact that people don't see history repeating itself, because despots and demagogues. Putin is a despot. That's somebody that rules with absolute power. They see very little value in human life when it goes against their own agenda. And then a demagogue is somebody that appeals to basic fears like, racism, and particularly in political reasons, they use it as a political tool. And for people not to see this, it's like Chavez said, it's the same thing that happened with Hitler. You have somebody that's charismatic because, I can't take it away from him. He was charismatic. That's how he became who he became. A charismatic person steps up. People find what comes out of this person's mouth and their behavior titillating, and to such an extent that when they do things that are wrong, you make up excuses for them.
Yep.
Instead of recognizing that they are fallible like every other human being. That's exactly who Donald Trump is, and that's exactly who Hitler was. And you have this demagogue celebrating the despot over in Russia.
Yep.
And the fact that people don't recognize that once Russia entered the chat, that should have shut everything down. We grew up during the Cold War. That shit was scary. I thought the country was gonna blow up when I watched that movie. Y'all remember that movie called The Day After?
Yep.
It was about the nuclear fallout and shit.
Yeah.
That movie scared the shit out of me. And we had to do the drills and shit. So as soon as Russia started invading, you got Crimea. People be forgetting Crimea.
No, yeah.
This shit is scary. And then here.
Here's where it goes a little bit deeper. Here's where it gets a little bit deeper, right? We have an invitation to followers to come to Washington, D.C. Then me and my boy Rudy, you know what I'm saying, we whip the followers up into a frenzy and point them towards the U.S. Capitol. And then what ensues is what ensues. So now you have people who are formally well-respected, staunch Republicans, like your Dick Cheneys, who have made a video, Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney. And then you got people that were in his administration. And these people spoke highly of him before it, but then they got to see what happens behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And when all these people come out and start, like, that's what didn't happen in Germany. Like, these people got a chance to see what's going on behind the wall, behind the curtain.
Right.
And they're like,
and they're still participating.
But these people are rattling like no.
Mitt
Romney. You're talking about the Liz Cheneys and the Mitt Romneys. Yes, correct. Sorry.
So all
Cassidy Hutchinson. It's a bunch of people from his administration who are like, no, don't let this man back in the White House.
Right.
So
and they were respected. Like you said, they were respected.
So I'm saying you have a lot of well-respected Republicans who've been respected over the years. And now you have the fringe who have become the main.
Yep.
Your
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert,
your Joneses, your Cruzes, your Gates, all of these people, and it's like
Gates.
I'm just like, hey, I get it. People see things how they want to see it. We choose how we want to choose, and we see things how we want to see it. But this has never happened before. Like,
no,
not here.
Well, not just period.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say not on. You're right. There's different elements to it, but Rachel Maddow, her second podcast series, talks about what was happening during the 30s here, and that you had senators working with Germany. You had senators. You had people who were helping push Nazi propaganda in the States. Yes. And so she charts what that looked like. And you had them being prosecuted, and you had people internally shutting down those lawsuits, getting AGs fired. Right? So that shit died, like what they're trying to like do all over the place, but definitely like in Georgia. So there's enough of it for us to know what's coming, right? Like there's enough of similarities where like, what's up? But that's the scary part is the crew that's like, no, this is what I want. I want a dictator.
Yeah. That's
what I want. So the guy the Alabama Supreme Court, Tom Parker is the Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. So he's a Seven Mountains Mandate person, which wants a fringe philosophy that calls on evangelical Christians to reshape American law and society based on their beliefs. That's why your embryos are being held hostage right now, because you got a religious fanatic as the head of the Alabama Supreme Court. So,
well, a lot of this is also
Trump. Go ahead.
A lot of this is also happening because the thing that irritates me to no end is this group of people, or this group of people who are activated, who were activated during when Trump was running for president. And again, these are people. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I don't necessarily think all these people are evil. They're just easily manipulated. And what I mean by that is the reason that people aren't recognizing these patterns is because they're not educated on the issues and they don't know American history.
Again, fucking with our
World
education
history.
system, fucking with our public education system is deliberate. Keep motherfuckers dumb. Absolutely.
But they're activated. Go ahead.
But you also have some people. You have here's the flip side to it that makes it even more dangerous. You also have some people who are just fed up with politics and they just want things to be blown up.
Yes, they want to burn it down.
So you have the people who are uneducated, but then you have the educated people who just want it all to be blown up. And they look at this one person as not being a politician and being okay, not really realizing, like, trust and believe, like you started to say, Antoine. Not all of the Germans that supported Hitler were bad people.
No.
And some of them literally thought, some of them literally fell for the brainwashing and believed what was being put out.
Definitely true.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the same thing here. There is a I think there's a small minority of these people who, you know, racist people and all these other things. But I think there's a lot of people who are just fed up with American politics. And they're just like, blow it up.
I don't think the number of the racist element is as small as we might want it to be, which again, Obama being in office is kicked off a lot of this, right? Like we got Trump because of Obama
and all of that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And again, this rise of white Christian nationalism is they were pissed off when Brown v. Board happened. Okay. Like that's the origins of that movement. So there's that element of like, we need to take our country back. Is put our black asses back on somebody's plantation, which our jail system, they're not too far off from it, right? So I will tell you, people who bother me the most, yes, the brainwash, that's a problem. But those who are seemingly well educated, for the most part, financially stable, well off, who are like, but under Trump, interest rates, right? Yeah. So it's not even I feel any kind of way about how America is run. Like, it's just like, it's really like very more so focused on like my financial situation. Yeah. Though that's the crew that really is a problem for me. Right. Because I'm like, so you're going to get your interest rates. And then within a year, no elections are happening. Rich people don't pay taxes anymore. Right. Like your body, if you're a woman and of childbearing era.
but then even bigger than that, all of this is going to fall apart because what people haven't realized, like, listen, I read Art of the Deal back in the day, late 90s, right? And then as I did research later on, I found out that like 70+%, actually probably in the 80 percentile of the business ventures that he touted as these great business ventures in that book all failed miserably. So what people don't recognize is he is literally a horrible businessman, but his privilege has allowed for him, his privilege and his confidence and his charisma. But if you listen to the man talk, even back in the day, he sounds like a horrible used car salesman. He always has.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. So what will happen? Not only will the interest rates be okay in the moment, but the country is going to go to hell in a handbasket.
Period. Like very quickly. So, and we could again, as what happens, we can talk about this endlessly because there's a whole crew of a focus group in Michigan that I'm really mad about. So we're gonna say that for Monday. But moving on to the Russian, I'm gonna jump a little bit. So the Russian conversation. So obviously not obviously, but Jim Jordan and Comer been chomping at the bit to try and figure out a way to impeach Biden because that's what Trump wants them to do, right? So their main informant dude, turns out he's a fucking fraud. He's a liar. He's a Russian op. And so the awesome part is they were told to not believe him. They were told that his information is not reliable. And I think he told them, I'm getting this shit from Russia. They move forward any motherfucking way. So one of the ones who, respectable Republican, Ken Buck, who is leaving Congress because he's like, I can't do this with y'all anymore. He said, he's like, we were warned at the time that we received the documents outlining this witness's testimony. We were warned that the credibility of the statement was not known. Okay. So, and the thing is, all this is coming out in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, right? That dude has been arrested. He just got rearrested because FBI is like, can y'all please keep him in jail? And the judge in Nevada was like, no, we're going to let him go with, GPS monitoring and hand us your 2 passports.
Russian op. You let a Russian op go on his... I'm not understanding this. You hate Biden so much that the person who lied and made you think he was participating in something that he wasn't participating in, you let him go, and he's a Russian op. That's crazy.
But here's
access to cash, and obviously means to get out of here. So he's been rearrested. Now there's a judge and it's still a federal judge, but he's based out of California. So he now has to argue for his re-release, and hopefully that won't happen. But
that judge should be removed. So that's political influence. That's crazy.
So many judges should be removed. So many people should be removed. So many people in Congress should not be there. Go ahead, Shabazz.
So everything that's happening with the former prez and everything that's happening with America is basically, one of the most famous quotes that, we've heard from the 20th century. Chickens coming home to roost. So at the end of the day, we had a civil war in America. And even in Germany, they outlawed flying the flag, showing a flag, pushing ideology of the Nazis. But because here in America, ethnic sympathy, that person, even though we went to war and we didn't agree, you still my brother. I'm not going to squash you. Go ahead, stay down there. Oh, also too, we going to kick you down with some cash because I know y'all taking a hit because of the slavery thing is over. So they actually, plantation owners and slave owners receive reparations.
Yeah.
Black people didn't receive it. So
one family did. We're going to talk about them. One family did.
Right. So,
not tonight.
So with that being said, this is hundreds of what we're experiencing right now is hundreds of years of allowing that Confederate ideology and those ideologues to continue to let that the South shall rise again simmer within them. And now here we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's bullshit.
Yeah. No, it is. So
now here we are.
No other country lets symbols of treason fly freely and be celebrated and flown at state capitals and protected. It's fucking illegal.
But
we are more accepting of Nazism here than they are in Germany.
True.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I went to a conversation with the head of the Legal Defense Fund last night, which is why I put Brown v. Board of Education on the show flow, and it's the 70th year. And I'm gonna circle back to that. But this conversation that we're having right now is in part because talking about the gains, but what we had to do to get those gains and how they've been steadily chipped away at even the few gains that we were able to get. So, and which is, is supportive of exactly what you guys are both saying, but just to breeze through the rest of it is, so the sneaker whole thing is where we at. So apparently on Fox News, they believe that, because Black people love sneakers, that we're not going to support Donald Trump because he's selling sneakers. And I quote, this is a Fox News host, even the sneaker thing, right? I was on social media last night. It's very interesting as you see Black support eroding from Joe Biden. No, I'm down with him. This is connecting with Black America because they love sneakers. This is a big deal. Certainly in the inner city, He continued. So when you have Trump roll out his sneaker line, they are like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics, and Trump understands some dumb shit. Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
I wish somebody would show up at the barbecue in a pair of them shoes. I would pull my dick out and piss on them right in their motherfucking face. Just send the kids in the house. We got to do some grown people business, and I will pull it out, swing it around, and piss right on them.
Damn.
Can you put them on fire first, and then you piss on to put out the fire?
All of them. They look. You think they go? You think they go now?
Antoine gonna pee on them January 6th.
Yeah, you think they go now? I'm gonna piss all over them. This is, I mean, just for people to be able, a person on an actual respected news network to be able to say that, and then the co-hosts are standing there like they know that shit is wrong. It don't matter where you stand. You know you're not supposed to say shit like that. You're not supposed to be able to freely say shit like that. Call it, you know.
To be fair, we have to remember. To be fair, what we have to remember is this.
What?
These people, for generations now, think that they know us better than we know ourselves. And some things are on the surface. They can look at it and say, oh, I know black people like this, right? The problem is they can't say those things out loud. Like, you might want to just hold that stuff in your head. You know what I'm saying? Like, some things on the surface might look, yes, we do. Check it out. Yes, we do love some sneakers. And honestly, it was our generation. Our generation is the generation that made sneakers this big thing. If you were in high school,
as with everything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, a lot of times they oftentimes they speak with the comfort and the confidence that they shouldn't have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But and we've seen, look, with the Fonnie Willis stuff from last Friday, they don't know us. They think they know us, but they do not. And they show that damn near every time they open up their mouths to speak on anything that's got to do with us. But so just moving on, because you know, we gotta keep it moving. So where we at? He needs to sell a lot of sneakers because Trump owes.
You might as well just say $1 billion because it keep adding up. It's like $1 million every 10 days. His interest is like $1 million. His interest is like $1 million every 10 days.
So he's already accrued $100 million in interest penalties. Okay, he racks up $2.6 million in interest every month that he doesn't pay the $355. Okay. He currently owes, like right now, today, $464 million. He has 30 days to handle that.
You know, he hitting his pocket up like, look, I ain't got it, dog, but I can put something on it, though.
Okay, so to that point, if he pursues an appeal, he will need to either post a bond or place cash in an escrow account that would cover the fines and interest.
Yeah, it's like 120%.
Okay. But if he does not place the full amount of the fine in escrow, he must pay 9% in interest on the judgment, which totals just over $3 million each and every month. Tish James, the homie in New York, said, look, if I got to come for your buildings, so be it.
She said she already shopping. Letitia said she already shopping. You know what's crazy too is so I had forgotten this part with the Elin Carroll case. He lost one case to her and owed her $5 million.
Correct.
We keep forgetting about that part. I'm
not.
Of course, yeah. But when the second case happened, everything from the first case was allowed to come into the second one. And it basically was like, oh, we don't even need to argue that other shit. No. That's already been said and done. We're figuring out damages.
Right.
So the thing that and maybe y'all knew this, I was oblivious to it. So apparently when the jury had to figure out damages, they basically were told, you know, he been running his goddamn mouth. We told him not to talk. He kept talking. One day he did 40 posts on Truth Social, and one day he did 40 about Elin Carroll. And so basically what ended up happening was there was a video deposition that they were allowed to view to help them assess how much he should have to pay in damages.
Yes. Yeah.
This video is where he's assessing the value of his assets. He said his brand was worth $10 billion.
He sure did.
And that he had real estate assets worth $14 billion. They were allowed to use that to determine how to make him stop, how to keep that lady's name out his fucking mouth.
Correct.
So had he not, and we all know all those numbers are inflated, but because it came out of his mouth, they were able to use that information to assess how much. And honestly, I'm shocked that they stopped at the number that they did. But had he not said that, he might have owed $5-10 million. It wouldn't have been the number that it was. So he did that to himself. And when they decided on the amount, when they went to him and got a quote, he didn't say a goddamn thing about Elaine Carroll. He ain't mentioned that lady's name since. I find that amazing.
He said something because they had one of her lawyers on MSNBC like a couple days ago, and they asked her, they were like, y'all going after him again? Because
she is, yeah, she can do it again.
It was an isolated, very like not quite what he had been saying, but to your point, he had not said anything for a minute,
right? And
he couldn't help himself once again and kind of said something, and she was like, we will always consider all options.
He's easily $1 billion in the hole, easily, because we don't know, because we don't even really know what he owes on his assets. He's not free and clear. He's not free and clear on any of his assets. So you already know he's in debt on those as well. So there's no telling. He's probably close to $1 billion
Lisa says she's lost, but she's staying in the game. I mean, basically, he owe a lot of fucking money, and the longer he delays it, the more money he gonna owe. That's really the period at the end of the game. And also, the other thing too is a lot of these things he could have settled. He could have fucking settled and not have owed $500 million or about to be $1 billion, right? In fines and debt and all that shit. Like it's actually really simple. He just decided to run for president and won. And
you know what?
And then afterward, with all these indictments hitting him,
you know what? I'm gonna send y'all. I'm sure
anymore. Some of this shit would have went away because they'd have been like, "Let's cut a deal." I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chavez.
No, I'm sure. I posted something about like him coming to this point, like when he was running. I'm pretty much. I'm gonna look back in some of my stuff. I'm pretty sure that I posted like this is where he was going to end up, because he should have never ran.
No, he shouldn't have.
Yeah. He definitely wouldn't be here had he
not run in the first place. He would have been free and clear.
Well, look, here's the other thing. So apparently, the strategy at this point would be to get a loan from a bank and post the bond. But because of the judgment, now I'm sorry, Letitia, I gotta say it this time. Because Letitia is that bitch. Letitia set it up so that he can't do business in New York for 3 years. He can't get a loan from a New York bank. He cannot.
He ain't gonna get a loan from anybody in America. That's the Saudis or Russia.
Well, and that's the problem. That's the problem is that he has relationships in New York. He might have been able to pull it off if that weren't the case. But you can't get a loan from a bank in New York. That sends who else gonna give you a fucking loan if
he wasn't going to be? No one in America. That's why he was getting loans from Deutsche Bank. No, like all of New York knew who he was. And most of New York, whether they were liberal or conservative, didn't mess with him because they knew who he was. That's why he started getting his money from Deutsche Bank, because none of the American banks were giving him any more money.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You know, like I said, listen, way before this, because come on, Antoine, you remember how all the rappers used to shout out Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I did this early 2000s. I was doing this research and I was like, oh, this dude is a con artist.
Yeah.
Literally looking at how, and then hearing like finding stories about people saying that he would hire people to do stuff and not pay them, and they would lose their businesses. Somebody, probably more than one, but somebody committed suicide, bro, because they lost their shirt. He was supposed to pay them, and he never paid
But
them.
that's so people in New York would say that they're like, we always knew he was a crook, and then also add the Central Park 5 shit. He took out a whole full page ad saying that they was all guilty and should be executed, right? So people in New York were like, you don't fuck with that dude.
On both sides of the ice.
The casinos in Atlantic City. Who loses money on a casino? How you gonna bankrupt casinos, right? And to your point, a bunch of them people never got paid, destroying businesses left and right. But ain't nobody want to listen when cats out of New York was like, this motherfucker's a fraud. Do not take this dude seriously.
Even Lindsey Graham, let me tell you something. Lindsey Graham probably came the hardest for him when he was running for president. Lindsey Graham
came the hardest for him. Hey, that's appropriate for Lady G. Came the hardest for him.
Pause.
I know that's
pause.
right.
We're done.
Pause.
Pause.
I feel like Lindsey Graham jerks off to a photo of Donald Trump every night. Like,
God, oh God.
His unwavering support, and Trump does not like that man. He's a political pawn.
TMC after dark. TMC uncut.
It's woof.
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh, nobody should like another person that much. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Tim Scott.
Oh.
Okay, so the most recent was there at whatever that interview, bullshit ass interview he just had, and Trump says, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna like when I say it, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. He supports me better than he supported himself. He's better at talking about me than he was at talking about himself. And what did Tim Scott do? Flash that gummy ass smile.
That's because I love you.
Coon with a capital C.
He said, that's because I love you.
I wonder if are the 25% of black men who are allegedly voting for him, do they connect with Tim Scott? I just don't.
No, you know what it is? What it is this, man. It's kind of like the like I said, you know, you're gonna have different trains of thought, but to be Trump represents he represents hypermasculinity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
He represents hypermasculinity, and you know, a lot of men, you know, agree with hypermasculinity. So
no, that patriarchy, misogyny shit, 100%. There's a lot. There's definitely an element of that, right? Like,
because I will tell y'all, I will like
gummy ass.
You know, when I've had conversations with black men, I've mentioned this on the show before. When I bring up the fact that black women, you know, in solidarity with Malcolm X, he was the person that said it first, black women are the most disrespected people on planet Earth. Do you know how many times niggas have responded, no, that's not true? I'm like, who is it then? We are. And I'm like, you are. I'm like, y'all fuck over black women too. What they fuck us over too. I'm like, not en masse. I said, they take care of shit when you niggas walk out. I said, the opposite is not happening en masse. And just that, this idea that, I don't know, this makes it easy for me to understand to a certain extent. Buying into that toxic masculinity, it means that, you know, there is a certain percentage within that demographic that agrees with the grabbing the pussy and women should be in their place and you should be able to marry 3 bitches and divorce them whenever and fuck their friends and fuck women in the dressing room. There's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot because I don't know the numbers, but some black men connect with that.
Too many.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
I mean, I don't mind grabbing the pee if it's like consensual. If it's consensual, like, you know what I'm saying? If it's my lady and she's like, grab the pee, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not just about to just go out here and randomly just grab the pee. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
you know, I'm not grabbing, you know, P Valley. I'm not just out here grabbing P Valleys. You know what I'm saying?
Please don't.
It's
just not.
It's sad. It always makes me sad when I hear a black man say something like that. about black women in general because they hold down everything. They are the ones that still, to this day, to their own detriment these days, still standing by a lot of these niggas that would jump ship at the drop of a dime if somebody else offered them something better.
Yeah. So yes, Dion is right. Even Coco was mad. Like Coco was out there, they're having a fucking fit. I was like, would you please stop? Beverly said, please leave the PB.
Only
if requested. I mean, y'all two consenting adults, grown adults. You know
what I'm saying? I'm saying solicited. If it's solicited, not unsolicited. I'm talking about the solicited grabbing of the P-Valley, not the unsolicited grabbing of the P-Valley.
Okay,
Let's make sure we get that straight. Solicited versus unsolicited. Like T.I. versus Tip. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, it really feels weird to segue into talking about Brown v. Board of Education.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Well, Al said I need a t-shirt that says please don't. Ooh, okay, all right. So yeah, I try and end us in a space of like, optimism or talk about Black excellence or something. So like I said, I was at this event last night and it was the head of the LDF, Janae Nelson. She's amazing. And they were having a conversation about, the work that they're doing, the work they've done and the work that they're still doing. And she mentioned Brown v. Board because it's the 70th year anniversary. And one thing that stuck out to me was all the gains, not just obviously desegregating of schools, but everything else that came from that, right? Like desegregating of housing, public accommodations, higher education. And because she was like, think about, we are for the most part able to go where we want to go, get on planes. Yeah. And she was like, there was a time in this country where by law, you could be stopped from going into a place, right? Sitting down at a counter. And so just recognizing for real, Coco, recognizing the gains that came out of that decision. But again, what we've noted is the chipping away that has happened since then.
Yes.
The battles that obviously we are still very much waging. And she did say this about the affirmative action case. She said, we're anticipating that outcome. She said, however, what we were not anticipating, Coco is very unhappy, right? Something is popping off outside. I don't know what it is. But
it's actually not that bad in the background.
Okay, good. Okay. So she said, though, what we were not anticipating was the far-reaching, elements of it, that now the opposition was going to try and apply that decision to all these other areas, like the venture capital group that's run by Black women who are trying to give grants to women who need funding, right? They're being targeted. So there's all these other areas where like, okay, we wasn't planning for that.
Yeah, because it's schools, it's business, it's literally everything. They're applying it to everything.
Yeah. So again, just it's this election, but it continues, right? Like the fire has been lit under these crazy people. And so fingers crossed we keep Trump out of the White House, but this is not going away easily. No. We just got another 4 years to try and like figure out how to beat these motherfuckers back. Now, if the Democrats get the Senate and the White House with some majorities to make some change, then we can get someplace, right? We can get some student loan forgiven. We can get some public housing. Like there's an immeasurable amount of things that we can make happen for the benefit of everybody in this country. Just want to put that out there.
Well, like I said, the biggest problem is going to always be the ethnic sympathy. You have to crush and completely destroy and nullify a thing. Mm-hmm. And like I said, if you allow for things to smolder, if you allow for things to simmer, you know what I'm saying? This is where we end up. I remember one time I was hanging out. I was house sitting from one of the homies, right? And he had got an apartment in Woodland Hills, and it was early morning, and I hear like YMCA playing loudly, and I'm like, who in the hell is blasting YMCA like loudly? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's really going on? And then I step outside, and this was like 2020. Step outside, and it's like a caravan, like a full-on Trump caravan. So this was during the time when they were doing the, where they were going all over. As a matter of fact, I remember they came somewhere like they came around Inglewood somewhere, and some of the brothers was like, "Yeah, no, y'all gotta get up out of here." Like, no, real talk. They were driving through certain areas, and some guys stopped them with their cars and told them like, "Y'all got to get out of here with that."
Wow.
But we've allowed this has been going on since the Civil War.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's so it's going to ramp up, and it's going to keep going, and they're going to keep fighting the fight until they completely destroy and overtake. Like, not saying that it's going to happen, but that's what they want to do.
They're not going to stop trying.
No, they're not going to stop trying. But we talked about it with the Nazis marching in Nashville, and cats rolled up on them like, "Take your mask off. What's up, player?"
Yeah.
And they got in a U-Haul and left. So
Yeah.
we got to put in some work. I mean, look, on the flight, one of these flights, somebody was trying to open up another emergency door. They jumped on that motherfucker. Sometimes you might be called into service, and you never know.
Right.
All I want to say is that brother needed a blessing. He needed some hands laid on him. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual moment for that brother. He got his life turned around.
And strapped to that chair, wrapped his ass up. It was like, "You not moving again." So thank you guys for rolling with us on our Friday night. Militia, y'all just be so lit in the chat. Thank you. I'm so happy I can see comments again tonight.
Yeah, that was some bullshit.
Yeah. Chavez, thank you for coming back.
Word. No problems. I appreciate it.
We didn't get a chance to, do any graphics and stuff because Antoine and I gonna work on another format.
They literally don't even see a button to end the broadcast. I don't know what's going on with.
I have a button. I can.
You're gonna have to hit the button. I don't. Hey, what the fuck are these people doing? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the fucking.
So
okay, I got it now. Hey.
Again, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back Monday night, 7 p.m. West Coast time. Tell a friend, subscribe, like it. So, and if you see a troll in the chat, go ahead and get at them. Do that for us.
Rough them up.
Yeah, we were supposed to take care of that. We'll do that next week.
We got 3 shows a week. We're doing what we can. Okay,
we go get some moderators, and although it ain't been so bad in the chat, the trolls have been in the comments on the video. So whenever y'all get a chance, when the show ends, just dip in there every couple days for the last episode and just see what's going on. I don't think we had any trolls in the last.
I did see Kale respond to a couple people.
Kale and Lisa were all up in the comments, and then I had one guy.
Khadijah always chimes in in the comments.
One guy who I believe he was the first one who used the word plantation, and so I was being passive aggressive when I responded to him.
You did very good.
Then he sent another one, and it didn't make any sense. And so at that point, I just can't help myself. I was like, "Do you know what word salad is?" And so, again, being slightly passive aggressive, and he responds and goes, "Do you know what a pawn is?" And I forget who it was, and they basically said, "This motherfucker is still engaging with you." And we're laughing because I'm like, every time you engage, we get pushed through the algorithm.
So look, thank you for your racism. We gonna make it work for us. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
So, all right. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend.
Peace.
Yes. Thanks, Chavez.
Toodles to you niggas.